Welcome to CineMyles, the show for cinephiles. I'm your host, Miles Hughes. I'm joined once again by a very special guest, Oscar prognosticator and man about town, Joey Magidson. Thanks for coming back.
Sure thing.
Last month, we did a video predicting the 2017 Oscar nominations. The nominees have since been released. Joey, what did you think of the final turnout?
The ones I accurately predicted, I agree with. The ones I didn't, sham. Total sham.
Yep, no, just a shame. The actual Oscar ceremony will be taking place on February 26th, so ahead of that, we decided to do a follow-up video where we are going to share our final predictions for the Oscar winners. We're going to skip out the 3 short subject categories because those are always such a crapshoot. We're going to go through the other 21 categories, listing our favorites to win and our runner-up picks. So we're going to start off with Best Documentary Feature, and the nominees are Fire at Sea, I Am Not Your Negro, Life Animated, O.J. Made in America, and 13th. For my pick, I'm going to go ahead and say 13th with O.J. Made in America as the runner-up.
I am swapped there. I'm feeling pretty confident O.J. is going to win, considering it's won every single thing it's needed to win. 13th could be the runner-up, though watch out for Fire at Sea as like the other political documentary. We're going to move on to Best Visual Effects, where the nominees are Deepwater Horizon, Doctor Strange, The Jungle Book, Kubo and the Two Strings, and Rogue One, ... A Star Wars Story. This seems pretty cut and dry. Again, The Jungle Book's won every single thing it's needed to do to win. You could look at Deepwater Horizon as sort of the surprise upset.
I'm actually going to go ahead and say Doctor Strange for sheer imagination, and because this is a category that I feel like is very consistently a surprising one. It's always the one that we're not counting on. For my runner-up, I'm going to say Rogue One. Best Achievement in Sound Editing. The nominees are Arrival, Deepwater Horizon, Hacksaw Ridge, La La Land, Sully. I think this might be a pretty consistent trend moving forward, but I'm going to go ahead and say La La Land for the win. And as runner-up, let's say Deepwater Horizon.
I'm also going with La La Land. I know it may or may not win, and that's where you'll see sort of the first test of its strength, because it'll be an early category on the night, probably. Let's say maybe Arrival as the runner-up. In the Achievement in Sound Mixing category, the nominees are Arrival, Hacksaw Ridge, La La Land, Rogue One, and 13 Hours. I don't think you're going to split your sounds.
Sure.
So that makes me think La La Land will win this as well, with, sure, Arrival being the runner-up.
Yeah, we're complete in agreement on this one. I'd say La La Land for the win with Arrival as a close second. I think that one has some of the more interesting sound mixing this year. If you're just glancing at the categories and you're not familiar with sound, it seems weird to me that you would pass up La La Land.
Yeah.
Best Original Song. We have Audition, The Fools Who Dream from La La Land, Can't Stop the Feeling from Trolls, City of Stars from La La Land, The Empty Chair from Jim, the James Foley Story, and How Far I'll Go from Moana. I'm going to go ahead and say City of Stars from La La Land takes it, because it's won a huge number of the precursors. I don't necessarily agree with it with being the film's nominated song, or even Audition for that matter, but there you go. Rather than Audition for the runner-up, though, I'm going to go ahead and say How Far I'll Go from Moana, because that's the kind of crowd pleaser, and if it's going to be something weird that kind of sticks out, it may end up being Moana's only win of the night.
I mean, I'm pretty sure City of Stars is winning. I also agree it's not the best song. I do think Audition is their best song, so that's my runner-up. Best Original Score, where the nominees are Jackie, with the score being composed by Mika Levy, La La Land, Justin Hurwitz, Lion, which is Dustin O'Halloran, along with Volker Bertelmann. Send your hate mail to CineMyles. Moonlight from Nicholas Britell, and Passengers from the always nominated, never victorious Thomas Newman. Probably the easiest pick of the night. It's going to be La La Land. Runner-up, I'm going to say Jackie just because I want it to be Jackie.
I agree. I think La La Land takes it for sure, and I'm pretty confident about Moonlight as a runner-up. Best Makeup and Hairstyling, which is controversial, to say the least. A Man Called Ove, Star Trek Beyond, and Suicide Squad. I'm going to say Star Trek for the win, and even though I hate to admit it, Suicide Squad is the runner-up. There's a lot of stuff in it from a makeup perspective, so I can at least understand why it was nominated, even if I don't appreciate it.
I have Star Trek as well, just because it's the one most people have seen. Ove could actually surprise, since it was up in other categories potentially, so that's sometimes a hint. Next up is costume design, where things are a little interesting. The nominees are Allied, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, Florence Foster Jenkins, Jackie, and La La Land. I actually have Jackie winning at the moment because it has taken most of the precursors. La La Land is going to probably come close to winning, if not take it.
I think Jackie's going to take it too. This category often tends to favor historical pieces, and it's clearly been tailored to within an inch of its life. For runner-up, I'm actually going to say Fantastic Beasts. It combines the period elements and the magical elements in a more interesting way. Best production design. The nominees are Arrival, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, Hail Caesar, La La Land, and Passengers. For this one, I'm going to go ahead and say Fantastic Beasts for the win, with Hail Caesar as the runner-up, because I feel like those are the two most produced and have the most on display from a production design standpoint.
I'm sticking with La La Land for now. When in doubt, predict the Best Picture winner.
Sure. Spoilers.
I have half a mind to put Passengers too, though, because it did win one of the Art Direction Awards. Next, we move to a Best Picture precursor of sorts with film editing. Nominees are Arrival, Hacksaw Ridge, Hell or High Water, La La Land, and Moonlight. When you don't have something like The Matrix or a Bourne movie, just something very strikingly edited, you tend to defer to what's going to win Best Picture. Everything here sort of points to La La Land. Though, I believe at BAFTA, Hacksaw Ridge won.
Yeah, I'm in complete agreement. I think La La Land takes it. And I would also say Hacksaw Ridge as the runner-up. Out of the other four, it is the most edited.
Yes, and most sometimes wins here.
Best cinematography. We have Arrival, La La Land, Lion, Moonlight, and Silence. La La Land is the one to beat yet again. I'm going to go with my gut, even though it may not be the favorite, and say Arrival for second pick. Although I would be shocked if anything takes it from La La Land.
The ASC award went to Lion.
Oh, interesting.
Yes, it's my runner-up. La La Land as my victor. We move on now to Best Foreign Language Film. A Man Called Ove, The Salesman, Tana, Tony Erdmann, and Land of Mine. Up until a couple weeks ago, Best Foreign Language Film was going to Tony Erdmann. Now, however, in light of Agent Orange not letting the director of The Salesman into the country at the time, I feel like there is going to be a significant sympathy vote. So at the very least, The Salesman is the runner-up, and I'm actually predicting it as my upset.
I agree with that. I would still say Tony Erdmann has the slight edge just because of name recognition and the fact that the remake just got greenlit. But I do agree that The Salesman could definitely get a strong sympathy vote. Best Animated Film. The nominees are Kubo and the Two Strings, Moana, My Life as a Zucchini, The Red Turtle, Zootopia. I have to go with my heart on this one and say Kubo and the Two Strings. It's actually won just enough of the precursors that it doesn't feel like a total, personal vote. And then as runner-up, I'm going to say Zootopia, even though I think Moana is a better film. I think Zootopia has a bit more broad appeal.
Well, unfortunately for you, Zootopia has won everything it needs to in terms of guild support. So that makes it more likely. I do predict Zootopia to win, and I think Kubo is the runner-up. Best Adapted Screenplay. The nominees here are Arrival, screenplay by Eric Heiser. Then you have Fences, screenplay by August Wilson. Hidden Figures, written by Alison Schroeder and Theodore Melfi, who directed the film. Lion by Luke Davies. And Moonlight by Barry Jenkins and Terrell Allen McCraney. I do think Moonlight is going to win. And I think Lion is probably the runner-up.
I'm going to say Moonlight to win for sure. I think it's a long distance between that and the runner-up. But for my runner-up, I'm actually going to say Hidden Figures, primarily because I think this is the only category where it even has a shot of winning. Best Original Screenplay. The nominees are Hell or High Water, written by Taylor Sheridan, La La Land, written by Damien Chazelle, The Lobster, written by Yorgos Lanthimos and, Efthimis Philippou, I'm so sorry, Manchester by the Sea by Kenneth Lonergan, and 20th Century Women by Mike Mills. I mean, it wouldn't be my first pick, obviously, but I'm going to say Manchester by the Sea takes this one. And for the runner-up, again, this is more of a personal choice, but I'm just so happy to see it there. I'm going to say The Lobster.
Yeah, that is a personal choice. I am actually going with Manchester as well. I've been back and forth on La La Land. My runner-up is Hell or High Water. It's the only place it has a pretty conceivable shot of winning, so maybe it comes up the middle with a vote split between the two that are going to get significant votes. Best Achievement in Directing. The nominees here are Denis Villeneuve, Mel Gibson, Damien Chazelle, Kenneth Lonergan, and Barry Jenkins. And of course, their films are respectively Arrival, Hacksaw Ridge, La La Land, Manchester by the Sea, and Moonlight. Barring an upset, this is pretty clearly Damien Chazelle's. Barry Jenkins is probably a runner-up.
I think you're right on point there. I also agree Damien Chazelle for the win. I think this is one of the few categories that feels completely sort of safe in a way. And I'm going to say Denis Villeneuve for my runner-up. Best Actress in a Supporting Role. The nominees are Viola Davis for Fences, Naomi Harris for Moonlight, Nicole Kidman for Lion, Octavia Spencer for Hidden Figures, and Michelle Williams for Manchester by the Sea. I'd say this one is a done deal. It's going to be Viola Davis for sure. Runner-up, let's go ahead and say Michelle Williams.
Yep, same thing. It is the most closed book of the night. Best Supporting Actor, where the nominees are Mahershala Ali for Moonlight, Jeff Bridges, Hell or High Water, Lucas Hedges, Manchester by the Sea, Dev Patel, Lion, and Michael Shannon for Nocturnal Animals. Interestingly enough, Mahershala Ali seems like the frontrunner, but he keeps losing places, which is not helpful. And losing to different people, which is also not helpful. I am still picking him. Going off of the BAFTA win, I'm actually going to put Dev Patel as my runner-up.
Because I think Ali has been the frontrunner all season, but not enough so to be a sure thing. I would also put him as the frontrunner. I actually agree with you. I'm going to say Dev Patel also for the BAFTA win. Best Actress in a Leading Role. Nominees are Isabelle Huppert for Elle, Ruth Negga for Loving, Natalie Portman for Jackie, Emma Stone for La La Land, and Meryl Streep for Florence Foster Jenkins. I feel a bit better about this one. I'm going to say Emma Stone takes it for sure. Runner-up being Natalie Portman for Jackie.
Agreed. Everything seems to be pointing to Emma Stone. They love La La Land. Natalie Portman is probably the runner-up, though. Best Actor, where the nominees are Casey the Beard Affleck for Manchester by the Sea, Andrew Garfield for Hacksaw Ridge, Ryan Gosling for La La Land, Viggo Mortensen for Captain Fantastic, and Denzel Washington for Fences. This is the closest thing to a 50-50 toss-up you could possibly have. Casey Affleck has won the most things. Denzel Washington has won perhaps the most reliable indicator of a win here. I lean ever so slightly to Casey Affleck just because I think it's the better performance. I almost feel like Denzel is the more likely winner. I'm still picking Casey Affleck because I don't want to be wrong.
I agree with your picks, though. I'm still going to lean towards Casey Affleck, my personal feelings on the film aside, and Denzel Washington, very close second. It doesn't feel like a film that would get him his third Oscar, but you never know with these things. And that brings us to the final category of the year, Best Picture. The nominees are Arrival,
Fences,
Hacksaw Ridge,
Hell or High Water,
Hidden Figures,
La La Land,
Lion,
Manchester by the Sea,
and Moonlight. Joey, what do you think is going to win Best Picture?
Call it a hunch, but I think La La Land just might take this one.
Doing a second choice here almost feels superfluous, but I'm also going to agree that La La Land takes the cake and is the big winner of the night. Second pick?
Actually, it's Hidden Figures.
Interesting. Why is that?
It has the SAG win, which is what's keeping La La Land from being 100% lock. And it's sort of peaking at the right moment. It's made, I believe, the most money of any of the nominees and would sort of be the almost even more political pick than Moonlight.
Yeah, for my runner-up, I'm going to go against conventional wisdom and say Manchester by the Sea, because it just feels like that movie that's like the weird Best Picture winner that like nobody necessarily agrees with. All right. Well, that's our thoughts on the winners of the 2017 Oscars. Tune in on February 26th to see how close we were, or more accurately, how close Joey was. Thank you so much for watching CineMyles. Be sure to like, share, comment, subscribe, do all those fun things. Thank you once again for joining me, Joey.
My pleasure.
And we will catch you cats on the flip side. Have a good night.